Hi there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another edition of Teach Me Tuesday. I apologize for not coming at you last week, but I had no voice, so I couldn't record. I got a little, throat bug or something. I don't know what it was. It was just mostly a cough, and I lost my voice for a few days. But I'm back, and I wanted to show you a quick and easy project featuring the Glossy Cardstock. I actually did another technique with Glossy Cardstock over the weekend on a Facebook Live, so you can check that out at By the Shore Stamping on Facebook. And I thought I would share another technique with this cardstock because it's actually really fun. It's got a lot of different ways to use it. So let's go ahead and get started. All you're going to need is, I have 2 pieces of glossy cardstock the same size, and you'll see why in a minute. I also have one of my stamping misters filled with just water, and then 2 ink refills. And I'm using Smoky Slate and Flirty Flamingo because I needed a sympathy card, so I wanted some kind of muted colors for that. So because I'm doing a sympathy card, I'm going to actually use more of the gray than the pink. But what I love about this technique is they come out different every time you do it. So you're just going to drop little droplets of the gray ink wherever you want. And it doesn't have to be in a specific pattern. You could totally do it more or less random, wherever. And then I'm just going to drop a few of the pink because, like I said, I don't want it to be too bright and bold, and Flirty Flamingo is a pretty bold color, so that looks about good. And then I'm going to just, again, spritz this with just a little bit of water, and again, this is on the glossy cardstock, so it's going to make these colors run. It actually looks very peacocky, if that is a word, but if you had a peacock stamp, like our old Celebration one, would be perfect with this technique, because that looks like a peacock. So you could just blot this with a paper towel or something now, but I found if you put them together with another piece of cardstock, you actually get 2 at the same time. So I'm just going to put these on top of each other, kind of blend them together a little bit. It does get a little bit messy, but it's totally fine. And then you're just going to pull those apart, and you'll see they kind of blend together. And now I do take a little paper towel or a napkin or something and just blot them. 1, because it's way too juicy right now. It'll take forever to dry. And 2, because I like the texture that the paper towel gives to the final look. So I'm just going to kind of blot some of this off. So then you can see what it's going to look like. And you can tell that every time you do it, it looks totally different. So even these 2 look very different. But it's kind of a fun technique. So I'm just going to set those aside to dry a little bit. I'm going to kind of blot this off a little bit. Messy. It is a little bit messy. And just to let you know, too, if you're not already a follower on my Facebook page, you'll want to subscribe or follow that, because I'm going back to my my monthly Facebook Live classes. Those are going to be on the last Wednesday of every month, and I'm going to start doing weekly Facebook Lives as well. So be sure to be on my email list too, so that you can sign up for notifications of those as well. But anyway, through the magic of television, I have a finished dry one here. So let's go ahead and finish off a card. Let me just grab a piece of paper here to cover that. All right, so let's go ahead. I've got a piece of thick Whisper white cardstock. This is 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this dry piece of glossy cardstock to the front of that. Like so. And I'm just kind of sticking it off to one side a little bit. And I needed a sympathy card. So I grabbed the it's called Lasting Lily. It's a Celebration stamp set. This is one you can earn with a $100 order, so you get this stamp set for free. The greetings in here are worth it alone. I love them, but these flowers are gorgeous, and you'll see that in a second. But I needed sympathy, and I actually don't really have any other stamp sets right now that have a good with sympathy, so that was my go-to for that, and that's why I selected that. And then because I used Flirty Flamingo and Smoky Slate in the Reinkers. I'm going to go ahead and use the same inks for my stamping. The Flirty Flamingo is pretty bold though, so I'm going to stamp off on that. So I'm just going to stamp this off to the side before I go to my circles. And I used, whoops, I didn't get a full image on there. Let me try that again. This stamp set actually does work really well when you have a little mat or something under you. All right, that's better. So make sure you press and hold. I'm going to stamp that here. I'm using my layering circles. So that gives it kind of a nice little light look. And then I'm going to take the stem image from that same stamp set. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp this off, and I'm using the smoky slate so it matches the little reinkers we did. And then I'm going to take that sentiment and using the smoky slate again, but this time I'm not going to stamp off. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right in the middle. So you get your image. And then, as I said, I used the layering ovals dies to cut out these pieces, so you can see you get a variety of oval shapes and scalloped nesting layers so that you can actually layer them on top of each other. So I cut out a pink one, and I'm going to layer this on top of there with just regular adhesive. Oh, look, you can see I boo-booed. I didn't even realize that was a mistake one, but there you go. 2 sides to every paper. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to just take some dimensionals, and I'm going to add this to my card. Get off. And we'll have a very quick and easy and simple sympathy card. I'm just going to stick that right in the middle. And then I think, just because I like to add a little bit of texture as well, I'm going to grab my Whisper White. Oh, you know what I'll do? Because I like this. I like this look. I have, this is our white, and I forget the name of it. I don't have it handy. It's the white thread or flax ribbon, that's what it's called, in the Occasions catalog. And I just snip off one edge of it, and now you can pull it apart into little strings. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie a little bow like that, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'll trim off the ends here. And you know what? My glue dots are not here, but I think I have some larger ones that I can make smaller. So I have a great big giant one here. Let's see if I can make this work, because I don't have all my glue dots are packed for a weekend event this weekend. So I'm just gonna steal a little piece of this. See if I can make that work. Improvise, improvise. All right, so that should work. You can see it's now stuck to my finger. This is why we stick the ribbon or the embellishment to the glue dot rather than trying to pull it off that way, because it makes it messy, but it worked. I think I'm gonna put it down here like that. And there you go. Very simple, very easy little sympathy card using that fun technique. So as I said, that I'm going back to my monthly Facebook Live classes where we'll do 3 projects, and I won't always do kits. Like this month, this January kit, the January class will be on January 30th at 8 p.m. on my Facebook page, but I won't have kits for that, but you can always watch along and improvise. I'll provide some supplies and details for you before we start on the 30th. But for February, I'm doing a class on the 27th featuring this adorable little So Happy Together stamp set. So if you'd like me to send you kits for that class, you can order at jenpetta.stampinup.net and just use that hostess code NR92PDYJ at checkout, and then you'll automatically get those kits sent to you. So I look forward to stamping with you, and I'll see you again next week for Teach Me Tuesday. Have a great week.